her experiences growing up in public housing and how they strengthened her to do the things that she's able to do today.
Thank you. Well, when I get ready to leave, I will, but thank you, Dorothy. I guess when Dorothy was reading my bio, I kind of felt like I'm known as a basketball player. I'm almost 50, and people still ask me, even who I went to high school with, do you still play basketball? Do you still play basketball? I'm like, I'm your all's age. No, I do not play basketball. I mean, I got gray running through. No, I do not play basketball. But I must say that basketball was a vehicle for me to get an education at the University of Kentucky and to just go on. When I graduated from the University of Kentucky, I went on to work for UPS for 8 years, worked my way up into management, and actually was the first black female to ever be promoted in a full-time management position at UPS. I worked here in Louisville and hired, and if you know anything about UPS, it was known as the, I guess, the good old boys network, and it was all promotion from within. So the environment was quite challenging, and a lot of backstabbing and just everybody trying to make it up the ladder. But I think I managed to just do it because of my ability to stay focused, and I have to reflect back on just my childhood and growing up in the housing projects. And I was born in 1964, and my mom said when I was 2 weeks old, we moved up into the Lexington East End housing projects, and I basically was there all my life. Matter of fact, my mom, she is on Section 8, and she kind of reminds me of Miss Hilda because she definitely believes in the housing authority, and she's all about, my mom's very frugal. I think she said at one time she was making $7 a week, and she saved like $2. And even right today on her Social Security, she still saves. But I guess, and of course, I grew up with the mother and father in the housing projects, and at one time, everybody was, that was the thing, everybody was moving out of the housing projects. But again, my mom's very frugal. She believes in living within your means, and she wanted to make sure that we had everything we needed. And my mom really didn't work. She stayed home and made sure that, we went to school and that we did our homework. And I'm actually one of one of four girls in our family. But my experience in the housing projects is kind of like, Dorothy, what you mentioned about your daughter. I mean, it was the best years of my life. And just having, I guess, the older kids, too, taking the younger kids under their wing and just being a role model, being an example. I can remember there were times where, of course, in our housing projects, there was just a full circle. And during the summer when it was warm outside, a lot of the older kids would decide to have like a little track meet, and they'd bring all the younger kids. Everybody would have their little events, and we'd have races around the street, which was our track. There was always different activities going on. Also, the older kids in our neighborhood, they would put on like a play every summer too, and that was really neat. They'd bring in the young kids, and just kind of watching them, growing up, going to high school, just doing everything that they needed to do. That really had a huge impact on me. And I think, growing up in the housing projects, and my mom, it just kind of helped me to be humble, but yet my dad was always very supportive and just a huge motivator in terms of anything we wanted to do. I have a sister who played basketball at Ohio State. I have a sister that's a teacher, and so we're pretty proud of our success, especially when people have the stigma that thinks, well, gosh, they grew up in the housing projects. And my mom's one of 10 kids, and pretty much my mom had a couple of sisters that lived in the housing projects, but they moved out. And of course, like I said, at one time everybody was moving out, but I mean, we stayed up there, and like I said, all four of my sisters now are homeowners and educated, and so you know, like Ms. Hilda was talking about, it's really not where you come from. It's where you're going. And none of us can control where we come from. Nobody can, you know, we can't control if we're born with a silver spoon, a rusty spoon. I mean, we can't control that. But we can control where we're going. And there's always obstacles and challenges. And sometimes, you know, you get that stigma that, you know, well, she's from the housing project, so she's probably not going to be anything, or, you know, but you can't let that stop you. I remember when I signed with the University of Kentucky, all the news channels, I mean, they came up in the housing projects, came to our house and did an interview, you know, with my family, and, you know, but it's, but I'm proud to say that I am a product of the housing projects, public housing. Again, I really don't think I would have, I don't know, I think if I probably grew up in a nice neighborhood, I don't know, I might have been this cute kid with 5 kids before I turned 20 or something like that. I don't know, but you know, I'm not going to take up any more time if anybody has any questions, but that's just kind of my experience.